What's up, young bloods?
Hey, how you doing, my man?
What's up?
Good. Yo, everybody. Last week we had a bye week
Because it was Mischief Night.
/ Halloween. And we've been going back-to-back weeks recording for how long?
Months, dude.
Dude, like at least
3 months straight.
at least a couple weeks.
I think the last time we missed was when we went to Montana.
Oh, dang.
So that would have been like middle of August.
And then before that was Asia.
Yeah.
I even think we got Montana week. Anyway, it was
We
a
may
while
have.
where we were going back-to-back every week. So it was nice to take a little break. Coming back, we're feeling, I don't know. How you feeling now? At first we were saying a little rusty, but...
Watch some ignorant music videos, and now we got our campfire on, so I'm feeling good.
Yeah, somebody asked what our pregame was. And
Oh, did they?
This is our pregame.
Bang is usually involved.
I'm going to blow
Bang
that.
energy or rain. Some type of sweets
Yeah, usually.
but tonight we had Taco Bell instead.
Yep.
And we usually just watch a bunch of ignorant YouTube videos. Whether it's music videos of rappers
Yep.
or anyway. Anybody else want to add to pregame rituals?
No, dude, I think you hit just about all them pregames.
But it was really weird not recording. It felt like I had missed something in my week. And do you know what I'm saying?
Felt like I was slacking.
Yeah. I was like, dang, there's something I got to do.
But we had a bunch of like you guys aren't going to be missing out on a week.
Yeah.
Like we had episodes stored up.
And so
True.
the reason we missed it, as Sean expressed, was because it was Mischief Night, which is actually an East Coast tradition taught to us by our New Jerseyan friends. So what's Mischief Night, Sean?
The first rule of Mischief Night is you don't talk about Mischief Night.
Well,
Failed that.
yeah, damn it.
But in general, you just get ignorant with your friends and, do stuff that...
They just like terrorize the town the night before Halloween. And apparently in New Jersey, at least, everyone does that, which I feel like is not too much different than every other night in New Jersey. But
It's funny. At like this point in time, the age we're at, we're all just talk now.
dude, I'm boring, dog. I'm almost dead.
We're so old, dude.
Bro, I got wild on Mischief Night. Stayed up till 11:30.
That stresses me out just thinking that.
No, that whole, I don't know, teenage and then college scene, that's all in the past now.
All right, what's like the rowdiest thing you did growing up? Like, did you ever sneak out? Did you ever terrorize someone? Like with toilet paper?
Dude, I was just such a good kid.
You have something in mind. I know you had a rowdy.
I'm trying to think of,
Okay.
there's like several things that came to mind, but in 7th grade, we started taking my friend's older brother's car out for joyrides.
Nice.
And so we're probably 13 at the time, and we would take them through the north side of town, which was the ghetto. And so there's this one specific road in our town called Houston Ave, which is the most hood part of our town. Like instantly everyone speaks Spanish, and it's just like generally the whites of my town don't go there at all. So we were riding down Houston Ave, and I almost rear-ended a van. and we're 13 driving around listening to Wu-Tang Clan. Actually, it was Redman and Method Man's The Blackout album.
Ooh.
And then we started coming home, and my friend lived on a really long road, and he lived like right in the middle in a cul-de-sac. And so we turned on this end of the road, and we see like a mile down his mom turn in from the other side, like coming home from the groceries. And so like we almost die, so stressed. So we gun it, get inside, park the car, we run inside, throw the keys. His brother's sleeping until like 3 p.m., So we just throw the keys at him on his bed, and then we jump out the window and run away. Like we just like run to my house. But yeah, I don't think she ever found out that we did that.
That's rowdy, bro.
That was fun. So I knew how to drive so well by the time I got my learners because, I don't know.
I ran away once. Nothing was like super like, I don't know. In my head, I was like, if I run away, where am I going to go?
To the other side of the island.
Yeah, everybody knows each other here. No. I ran away just such a brat, dude. I sucked as a kid. Just talking back to my parents all the time, giving them a hard time. I ran away just to like get just to get my mom worried.
You petty, bro.
And I ran out the house, and before she could see, all I did was go behind the house. And just like a minute later, I hear the car turn on, and she leaves the house, and she went to go look for me for like at least an hour. And the whole time, when she left, I just went back inside the house.
Got her ass juked, son.
And
That right stick, bro. Gonna be quicker than that, ma.
Yeah. But you were like, okay, she does love me.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's funny.
She comes home, I'm like cooking spam. Because that's all we do in the islands.
She's like, I drove around the whole thing.
I talk to everybody.
Yeah. You just go outside and yell.
Hey, where is my son?
Hey, over here.
He's at the house.
He in the cove.
Making the spam. Anyways, Sean.
Bro, I got nothing. Legitimately was never rowdy.
Good for you.
That is good. Did you ever steal anything?
I stole like some quarters one time.
Bro. From whom?
I got in trouble
Aw.
because that was all the money we had.
Bro, do you feel comfortable telling your birthday story with the pizza, dude? Okay. Last episode we dropped, I talk about my my heartbreaking story in La La Land.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've seen the movie, that was my life. Except I never went back to Los Angeles. Sean has an equally disappointing story.
Just not about La La Land. So, when I was a kid, we were pretty poor. At this point in time, we were living in Kentucky in this house that we lived in for free as long as we mowed the 7-acre lawn every week. And it was so big, we only had push mowers, so I would start on one end, do an acre a day, and then start over the next Monday. And essentially what we would eat is we'd go out into the yard and pick up like those onion grass shoots that just grow in the grass and boil those suckers and have what we called onion grass soup. To this day, I don't like raw onions.
So on the daily, Mom would be like, go outside, choose your onion. Right?
That's pretty close, dude.
Throw that bad boy in a pot of hot water. Just.
Okay, so one time we had babysitters come over, and there were like an elderly couple that came to watch us. We're all little kids. And I remember that they were so nice, they brought us a frozen pizza to make.
And had you ever seen pizza?
I had seen pizza, like the Totino's pizzas. This was a DiGiorno.
But you've never had pizza.
I've had pizza. Like, there's extended family. I've had pizza at points in my life.
I thought you never had pizza. But like pizza wasn't a thing you had like normally.
No, not really.
Okay.
Like, it was a special occasion. I remembered having pizza in Washington a couple times.
Okay. Well, that's still crazy.
Yeah. Wait, wasn't it your birthday too?
I don't think it was my birthday, actually.
Where am I pulling these things from? I'll shut up. Go ahead.
But I also probably celebrated like 6 or 7 birthdays in my life too. So that's a whole nother story. But they brought a pizza. They're going to cook it for us. I remember standing there at the door of my bedroom where I shared with my 5 brothers and sisters, listening to them argue about how to cook the pizza. And eventually, they come to the conclusion that they're just supposed to put the pizza right on the grate. And so they do that, and they are both elderly.
Maybe it was these old people. Maybe it was their first time eating pizza.
Yeah. I mean, we were living in Possum Trot, Kentucky.
Not a fake name.
That's not a fake name. So about 45 minutes later, when we start hearing or smelling the smoke and hearing the smoke alarm go off in our house, we realize the pizza is still in the oven. As they pull it out, charcoal black, and my dreams of eating a DiGiorno pizza go up in flames.
I'm just surprised y'all had batteries for the smoke detector.
Smoke detector is one of his siblings just screaming.
No, my
Fire!
Caliente, caliente.
no,
Like, are the batteries out or are there actually a fire? No, there's
another false alarm. No, my mom was very security, like she was about that. We even printed off fake security stickers to put on our windows.
Oh, that's smart.
Just because people would break into our 150-year-old Civil War house
and steal your onions, my bro.
Wow, how about the
They break in and leave stuff. Damn.
Damn. What about the financial security? Goodness. Good to
And
be back.
here I am today, still alive, so I can't complain.
It's funny because Sean, I think, makes the most money out of all
Yeah,
of
Sean's
us.
balling, so he deserves it.
Just for that one time.
Sean's working hard so his daughter doesn't have to sell detox tea on Instagram.
Just to clarify,
Or
Sean
s-
doesn't have a child, but
That we know of.
Yeah.
He's setting up. He's setting up.
and with that, this is the 3 a.m. podcast. He's Sean.
He's DJ.
And he's Charles.
Hey. Cool. Yep, this is a podcast where we get together and share scary stories and have a good time. Welcome.
You know, real chill. Just hanging out
Oh,
by
yeah.
the campfire. Without the campfire, but the stories. Yeah. Or we do have a campfire. If you look at our YouTube channel, and recently we've been pushing a little more.
Actually,
on
we haven't
YouTube.
really talked about it yet. Did we announce it when we posted the clip?
I mean, it was on the post, but like it wasn't a big announcement.
Guys, guess what? If you're listening to this on your favorite podcast streaming app, you can also go right now to YouTube and watch it. It drops a day after it drops on the podcast app.
A
We still appreciate if you download it, though, on the podcast app, because that's the number that matters at the moment.
but go watch it too. 'Cause
But yeah,
like,
if you want
that's
to,
cool.
Yeah.
If you don't download, it's okay, but we're real grateful to have you. But yeah, we are trying to push more on YouTube, and there is a little bit of extra content on the YouTube videos, things that we edit out for the podcast apps. We leave some of that in for the YouTube videos. So
Yeah.
if you prefer to watch your podcast, then we're starting to do more of that for those people. Halloween is dead and gone.
Yep.
But what's your favorite candy?
Ooh.
And what's your least favorite candy too? I feel like talking about things that you hate are sometimes more interesting.
True.
But I don't know.
Anything with peanut butter is my favorite, and those dumbass banana Laffy Taffies are my least favorite.
Those are trash.
And I hate the people who like them too.
You know who you are.
Taffy in general is just straight rubbish to me. Favorite candy of mine is a bougie candy, Ferrero Rocher.
Ooh.
Dude, it's so good.
Did
It's
you like
so
run
good.
away from your mom when you were little to make her come look for you or something?
Or Reese's? I'll settle for a Reese's because that's also A1.
Dude, 100%. I would say my most like utility candy all around that I like is Snickers. But
I see you.
like a Reese's egg or Christmas tree is just
Or a pumpkin.
yeah, so good. Least favorite, bottle caps.
Oh, those things are gross.
That
It's
tastes like soda, you know?
medicine, bro.
Soda flavored candy.
Bro, even
Caca.
even the
Straight
Flintstones
caca.
vitamins are
Dude,
better.
For real.
Wait, what about like fruit candy?
Okay, wait. Black licorice, yay or nay?
I'm
Licorice
not
in
about
general,
it.
doo doo.
Yeah, not a
Red
fan.
vines, get out. Twizzlers, even. That's like the knockoff red vines.
Yeah, but they're so fun to eat, bro. You like take a
Stop talking.
They're the
Remind you of
string
your-
cheese of candy.
It's like candied onion grass, huh?
dude, just a little less onion flavor, but I'm still about it.
On the episode or on the channel, we will be making onion grass soup sometime and trying it.
Dude, that'd be hilarious. Mark our words.
Just barf on camera.
One day, let's try to make some bomb ass onion grass soup.
Bro, it's like
Oxymoron.
binging with Babish. Shout out. He hears it and then he makes a
Collab.
good version of it.
Yeah, collab with binging with Babish. I also hate. Is it Mounds?
Dude, I like Mounds, bro. That like
Is it the one with
coconut,
coconut?
dark chocolate.
The thing is, I hate coconut.
I like
And
coconut.
people are like, "But you're from Hawaii."
What?
No, no way.
Might have
Yeah,
shits.
I don't like coconut and Mounds.
Well, I love Almond Joy, so
Almond Joy has coconut too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like Almond Joy either. That's fine. You can like Almond Joy.
Well,
and
what
Mounds. Wait, fruit candy? Haichu, dude.
Ooh, Haichu's
Haichu
dang.
over Starburst. Starburst still good.
I
but
do like that
choose
pink
Haichu.
Starburst.
Pink Starburst is where. See, here's the
Dude,
thing. There are bad Starbursts, and everybody knows it. Like when
which
you get
ones? I hate red Starburst.
Bro,
Yeah, when you
even
get red
little
or
kids
orange,
know this.
I love orange Starburst.
Okay,
So-
let's stick with red then, or yellow too.
I was
love
passing
yellow.
out candy
Yeah,
for
'cause
Halloween.
you are yellow, dog. yeah,
And
you're.
I'm-
Wait, shut up. Stop. Sean is talking.
I can hear it.
I had a bowl full of Starburst, and this kid comes up and he's like, "Oh, all the pink ones are gone." I was like, "Sorry, man."
Everybody knows that the pink Starburst is the best. Haichu, there's no bad Haichu.
Okay. Fine. That might be the truth.
It is a truth. I'm telling you right here. You heard it here first.
Also, Skittles. I do like them Skittles.
Skittles are good. All of them, like the berry
True.
one, the tropical one.
I like mashing them together and then
I actually organize all of them, kind of like Jordan. If you remember all the way back in like episode 2 or 3 where he talks about it.
Segregation.
Jordan's like, it just feels natural. It feels like God's way.
Gushers, dude.
Oh, gosh,
I
That
don't
was
know.
like
I
my
didn't like
favorite.
Gushers.
You
That
don't
was
like
like one of my favorite candies growing up.
Gushers and roll-ups, fruit by the foot and stuff. I wasn't about that. I don't know.
I still like
Some
them.
fools would like put Gushers in their fruit roll-up and like make a blunt type thing with them. You know what I mean?
Just
Smoke
just
that.
light it up.
How about what am I thinking of? Never mind, I can't remember. I've completely forgotten. Oh, you know what I hate? Is almost like movie candies. Whether it's Mike and Ike's or hot tamales.
I don't like
Mike's
hot
are
tamales.
gross.
Most of them that come in the box. I'm just not about.
M&M's come in a box though, and I'm about those.
Yeah, but not usually, you know.
When they come in a bag, they're better.
I changed my favorite candy ever,
Okay.
and I'm being 100% serious.
Just now.
Chico sticks. I love Chico sticks. Chico sticks?
I don't even know what those are.
Really? They're essentially the inside of a Butterfinger.
So butter,
Just the finger.
just a stick.
You just look over at Charles in the movie theater, just munching on a finger, dude.
Dude, they are so good.
If I'm going to be completely honest, my favorite candies, those are like mainstream candies. Okay. My favorite candies are like Asian candies. Because we had a ton of those in Hawaii.
Oh.
So like Hello Panda, super good. Pocky,
Is that the things that are like
yep.
this?
the panda crackers with like this chocolate filled. So tasty.
Yeah, don't be shy. Don't be shy with your heritage candy. Cultural candy.
I'm just reaching out to, I feel like most of our listeners are white.
Well,
So? And?
anyway.
Anyway.
Candy.
You want them? I got them.
Dripping like honey.
Whoa. What?
Dude, I'm sorry. I'm in a weird...
Bro, you need more caffeine.
Nevertheless, we're excited to be back. I think that was a good question to start off with.
Sure.
Cool. But I did want to discuss something.
Oh, yeah. You had something to say. What's up?
So I wanted to talk about like inviting spirits.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I wanted to talk about inviting spirits, good and bad. So my theory on this has always been you can invite good spirits by like doing good and positive things. If you're in a church, you say prayers, you sing hymns, things like that. And with that, you can do the opposite and you can invite bad spirits. And I have always thought through seeking out scary or dark things or telling scary stories. And so for our listeners out there, I do want you to be conscious and aware of like your levels and energy. And yeah, just try to be conscious of that.
I think for sure, certain like traits and attributes like exude different types of energies. Last week, I was in a meeting with these two people that I could potentially do work for. And one of them is a longtime friend. The other one I've met once before. She's super nice. And the whole time she was just like, the work that they had going on was really, they do a lot of humanitarian work, and one of the countries they work in is in Greece with a lot of the refugees. It's like emotionally stressful, and just trying to set up these refugees with, I don't know, success, running away from the war and trying to live a normal life. But she was like so optimistic, and all I could think of was like, this girl has good energy. Like, I feel good around her. Like, the way she talks about problems, like she's like trying to find like solutions. And she just had like a happy like aura surrounding her. So I think just working on yourself, that sounds like a self-help book, but that's honestly all it is. It's like you can invite good spirits just through who you are and how you develop, how you act around others and yourself.
Call it spirits or frequencies or energy or whatever you want. The first time I was really keenly aware of it was when I was living in Australia. I got together with some friends and we decided to have a scary story night. And we start with the top ones, and it, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., it's getting later and later, and then we start going down to like the hardcore demonic possession, like everything you don't want to touch, we're getting there. And then we all go to bed, and I talked about sleep paralysis, and someone there had never heard of it, and I'm pretty passionate about that, so I went off and just unloaded on this kid. Mm-hmm. And that night, he had super severe, hardcore sleep paralysis.
Dude, every time, not to like derail you, but like every time you talk about sleep paralysis, somebody gets it, dude. It's like it happens all the time. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sean's smiling because he's never had it.
And I'm just over here praying he gets it.
Yeah. Sean's not a real person.
Sean has sleep paralysis all the time.
His life is sleep paralysis.
Just sleep paralysis.
Yeah.
What's going on, guys?
No, but and that's the type of thing, is just like you're opening yourself up or inviting. And I heard, I'm not going to go into any details, I'm not going to say any names, but someone who's a fan of our podcast kind of had a traumatic experience. Wow. And it was right after they listened to our podcast and went to sleep. So, cautionary disclaimer, just be aware. Try to add positive things into your life.
And we've said this before, and we'll say it again. Find things to clear the air. Like, if you feel like that negative energy, I don't know, you might not even believe in this, but it's like you can't deny that sometimes you feel weird or bad about your environment. Like, try to find things or do something to clear that air and bring more positive energy. So we try to do that. Like, if we're feeling spooked, we'll throw on what? What do we throw on, guys?
I personally don't do that, so I'm staying quiet the rest of this part.
I don't know. I think
The Office is great.
Yeah, sure. We'll take it. The Office, Netflix. Anyway, you guys get it.
Yeah. So just disclaimer.
Yeah.
Love y'all. Deejay, you want to tell us about when you and I went to the mall? And those dudes were just hella judging us.
So, Charles and I...
You weren't like holding hands or something, were you?
No.
We were making out. Just like that.
Charles and I were going to the mall to meet up with his wife and her best friend, also one of our friends. We walk into Nordstrom, and they're not in Nordstrom. We just walk through it to get to a store close by it. And as we're nearing the exit or entrance of Nordstrom, there's these 3 like beautiful girls, and they are decked out, like dipped in gold, like just looking so fly. That I just see in my peripherals, but I know they're like
they're like staring right at us,
eyeing us out. And it wasn't like checking us out. It was like, oh, I feel like these girls are hella judging us right now. So like I like refuse to make eye contact, and they're like, I don't know, 30 yards away at this point.
Yeah, and I saw them. They were just standing there.
Yeah, and as we get closer, I like glance really quick at them, and I notice, and they're just like 3 mannequins wearing clothes
At the entrance of the store.
at the entrance. And
well, we're walking and then DJ just dies laughing. He starts like almost like howl laughing. I'm like, what the hell's? And he's like, bro, I thought these were chicks hella judging us, bro.
Bro, I thought it was weird because they weren't moving.
They just scaring the whole time.
They weren't moving. They were just like looking at our direction, and
That's so funny.
yeah, spoopy.
It was pretty funny.
There you have it.
And with that, it's time to roll.
Oh, grab them D20s, boys. 1, 2, 3. Sean, go.
Charlie got a 14, DJ got a 10, and Sean got a 3?
3.
Mhm.
3.
So, the order that we're sitting in, the order that you see here, left to right.
Cool. All right. I kind of have just some random short ones this week. So, first one. So this actually happened to my dear older sister, Brittany. So this happened back in Central California, and one of her really good friends' mom was a realtor. And so at this time, Brittany was helping her like prepare houses and get them on the market so they could show them to potential buyers. And they get this one house, and it's in this place called Badger Hill. And Badger Hill is outside of town in the foothills on the way up to the Sequoias. And it's where, if you live there, you're super duper rich. So these houses, it's a gated community, and they're huge. And as they're driving up to the house, Brittany's like getting the story like piece by piece from her friend's mom until she starts realizing there's something off about the house. So the people who lived there were married for a very long time. They were wealthy, and they had a son. And the son went into the mountains in the Sequoias on a hiking trip, and he never returned. They never found the body, and he disappeared. And the memory of their son hurt so much that they got up one day and left the house. They took like a bag of clothes, but everything in the house they left. So this job was particularly big to go prepare this house to be seen. So she had asked Brittany to go help her. Mm-hmm. So they get to the house and they go in the front door, and the mom's like, I'll go upstairs. I have a ton of stuff I need to move around up there. If you want to go and just tidy up around the kitchen and things like that, that would be great. So immediately they got in, and Brittany hears this story. She's a little on edge. Her friend's mom goes upstairs, and Brittany goes into the kitchen, and the pantry door is open and the light's on. And she's like, that's weird. but maybe someone left it on last time. So she yells up to her friend's mom and says, "Hey, was there anyone else in this house before you and I came?" And she said, "No, I was the last one here. I turned everything off." So that's like flag number 1.
Mm-hmm.
And then Brittany's trying to like straighten up around the kitchen, and she goes up to the fridge, and there is a cutout of a newspaper, and it's the article of the son and his story who went missing. And it's the only thing sitting on the fridge, like on a magnet. And she said, just chills run through her entire body.
Through my entire body.
So she's terrified, screams. Friend's mom comes downstairs. She's staring at it, and she's like, I was here a couple days ago, and that was not. And then they look down, and they realize they couldn't, because it was dim until they turned on the lights. But there are muddy hiking boot footprints all around the kitchen.
Oh.
And they lead to the garage. And they go down the stairs into the garage, and they go out the door and just out.
So they followed these footprints, but at least throughout the house.
Yeah. And they open the door and they look in the garage, and the footprints just go to the garage door. And then the garage door was open, like the back to the backyard, and they just went out into the hills.
Holy cow.
And Brittany said they were both freaked out, got in the car, and left.
And then I walked back inside the house.
And then she came to find out that her friend's mom gave up that listing and was just like, there was too many times she was there and got the weirdest vibes. And Brittany fully believes, she's like, I totally think it's like the spirit of the son who just doesn't know where his family is and is lost in the afterlife.
Oh. Why people got to be creepy? Like,
we said that before.
Unnecessary.
Don't be creepy.
Don't
be
scary.
Spooky.
Yeah.
Don't be scary.
Dang. But yeah.
That's pretty wild, though.
Because the best scary stories are like, even if it is the paranormal outcome, terrifying. And if it's not, it's even like more terrifying. Like, who's doing that?
Yeah, who's coming into my house, knows enough about us, and found that article clipping.
Oh, yeah.
True, yeah.
Put it in. Also, who doesn't clean their shoes before they go in the house?
It's true. There was this one time I saw someone put their feet up on a couch with shoes on, and I was like, get your GD feet down off of that couch right now.
Jesus did not die for your sins to be sitting on a couch right now. Bro, I know what you're saying.
That's scary, though. Like, if I saw that, I would probably be freaking out for a second, and then I would probably try and follow the steps as far as I could.
You're a braver man than me, dude. I'm not about that.
I would follow too, but I'd make sure people knew or people were with me.
Bring someone with me if they wanted to come, because sometimes not everyone wants to come. But also, I would put up a camera in the house for next time.
One of those old point and shoots for selfies.
Dude.
Speaking of cameras in the house, we are going to have Reed back on the podcast. I think just as a guest, not like a full 3 p.m. episode.
Nice.
I recently was hanging out with him, and he told me this story that involves cameras in the house, and I cannot wait for you guys to hear it.
Please tell me it was his house.
I'm not saying anything.
Okay.
Terrifying.
That should be fun. Yeah, we'd love to have him.
Okay. Next one, real quick.
Yeah.
It's actually a submission on our Instagram.
Sick.
So he is a convert to the Mormon church. So he joined the Mormon church, or the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, when he was older. He served his Mormon mission in Japan near Hiroshima. So he gets to Japan. It's a huge culture shock. He gets sent out to like the port of Hiroshima, like the city around there. But the more inland you go, the more mountainous and rural it is. And he gets sent way out there. And at this point, while he's living there, he can speak zero Japanese. But luckily, he's partnered with a person who can speak Japanese and does a really good job at translating. So while they're living and working in this area, one of the church members says, hey, you need to visit this lady. And he said, we'll call her Yamamoto. Go visit her. She's having a really hard time, and you guys might be able to brighten her day. So they go out, way out, like into this rural location to visit her. They bring a member of the local church with them, and they knock on the door. And the door opens, and this older woman with black hair opens it. She looks very like heavy, like there's something on her. And she looks up and she looks at them, and she starts speaking Japanese. And they're doing all these greetings, and he can barely pick up a word here or there. And his friend, who we'll call Takashi, is translating. And all of a sudden she says something, and he notices Takashi like looks really quickly at both of them and kind of like stiffens up. And he says, like, what'd she say? And he said that Yamamoto said, I see you brought a friend with you. And he's like, yeah, we like from the local church. So didn't think anything in it. And they went inside. They sat down, they spoke with her. And when they went inside, all three of them, so Takashi, our friend, and the person they brought from the church, they come and they sit down, and Yamamoto goes, your friend left. And it clicks. And he realizes he's not, or she wasn't talking about the friend we brought from the church. And Takashi's still acting really weird, and they get out. They leave. And he's like, what was that? Like, what happened? And he said, she insisted that you had brought a friend with you. And he's like, what do you mean? And he says, a spirit. And she could see it.
What?
But when they had come inside, the spirit didn't enter with them. Kind of freaked him out. He had never had any experience with like anyone seeing ghosts. And he started to understand why she looks so heavy. And it was because she can see spirits.
Whoa.
So like a month later, they decide to go back and visit.
Real quick, what was the exact thing that she said?
She said, oh, I can see you brought a friend with you.
So what about that made Takashi like perk up and just like, what? That's weird.
I think it's I think there was an exchange like, yeah, this is so-and-so from the ward. And she was like, no. Like
They didn't come
brought,
in.
Yeah, he brought something with you. And then when all three of them went inside, she said, oh, I see that the friend you brought has left.
Okay.
So they come back about a month later just to visit Yamamoto. And they get there, they knock on the door opens. She looks at both of them and then pauses for a while on our friend and then looks down. And so they're speaking with her. And at this point, our friend can speak Japanese pretty well, or at least much better. And so he can understand what's going on. And they're asking her, how's your day? How's your week? What's going on? And everything she's answering is like one-word questions. And then Takashi says, Mrs. Yamamoto, is something wrong? And she just shakes her head, staring down. And he goes, is there a spirit here with us? And she just shakes her head.
Holy cow.
Or nods her head. And he goes, where is the spirit? And they're standing like right here, right in front of her. And she just goes and points right in between them.
Bro, I would have started karate chopping.
He said the instant she pointed, he felt breathing on his neck from right beside him and said, I could barely move. He's terrified. He has never had experiences with ghosts or supernatural in his entire life. And he feels this presence. And so they don't know what to do. So they just decided to pray as hard as they can with her. And he said after a while, it felt like it had gone, but that he like could still sense it. But he could move at this point. And so he left. And then very shortly after that, he moved away from that area and didn't really experience anything like that again.
Oh.
But according to him, he said, the Japanese are very superstitious and have a ton of stories, which I appreciated hearing because I'm part Japanese. but my mom was adopted, so I don't know anything about my Japanese side. So I might reach out to him again and just ask him a ton of questions.
Dang.
But yeah.
That would be wild to be like someone that had that ability to see spirits. Like just without trying, you know?
I was gonna say, it seems like, and we've talked with people. One other
Your
example
homie, bro.
is, yeah, Ikaika. I forgot what exact episode it was, but it just seems like people are more sensitive to those kind of things. You know, he called it the gift,
Right.
and it seems like a lot of those people are. Looks like they're like born with it. Like nobody goes and studies that. You know, or maybe people do.
So who's up next?
That's me, boy.
Hey.
Are you ready now to witness a power not seen for thousands of years?
We're in this. I remember I put the mask on when we had our 3 p.m. episode with the Hendrixes, and Havoc was just like, he looked worried when I put my mask on.
Concerned.
Yeah. And you were like, oh, he just puts that on to focus. like he was supposed to take that and accept it.
Duh.
He's like, oh yeah. Focus. We all need ski goggles to focus.
You look like Ski Mask the Slump Dud.
Slump demigod. All right, I have a few stories.
Ooh.
Maybe a couple, maybe a few.
Okay.
Ooh.
On one specific topic.
Oof. Okay.
The very first story happens in 2004. So,
Okay.
Where were you in 2014? Wait, 2004.
wherever you were in 2014, that was 10 years after this story happened.
I'm not Asian math. I did not inherit that. Where were you in 2004?
2004.
So you're 14.
I think I was in middle school, I think.
Really?
Yeah, I was in middle school. I was just discovering music. It was the beginnings of the rest of my failures in life.
I had just discovered Slug, Atmosphere.
Ooh.
14, I got my first graffiti magazine from my sister, and I was starting graffiti. I mean, allegedly. Yeah, I was like getting way into hip hop. I was trying to DJ, breakdance. I was trying to battle.
Same. Yeah, that was 2004. Where were you in 2004, dog?
Just finishing his 3rd acre of grass.
No, dude, that was my 4th acre, bro. No, I was living in Ohio at this time, just outside of Cincinnati.
Oh,
Yeah.
what's that place like?
What's that smell like?
Cincinnati, like it's typical big town. They got some ghettos. Like I remember on the west side of the freeway going north is where I lived, which was considered more ghetto. Then on the east side was where all the rich people lived, and sometimes we associated with them.
Oh,
That's like Utah, dude.
true.
The I-15, the interstate separates
The rich and the poor.
almost, like not just like
The rich and the
financially,
polys. No,
but like socially too. It's kind of sad. Like, anyway, we won't get into that.
I still live on the west side of that freeway.
cool. 2004.
2004, this happens, and this dude is with his friends, and they decide to go and have a weekend in Joshua Tree.
Oh, cool.
You've been to Joshua Tree?
No, not yet.
You've been to Joshua Tree. What's it like?
Beautiful. I am not about if you gave me the option of lush mountains, tropical region, or desert. Desert will be the last on my list every time.
Yeah.
But so I wasn't stoked to go to Joshua Tree. We went down there and it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It's weirdly amazing. Yeah.
It feels like you're on the moon or something, like a different
That's
planet.
trippy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not what you think of when you hear the word vacation.
Yeah.
But I feel like a lot of rich people go to Joshua Tree for vacation.
It's also
Like they have houses, like huge houses off the grid there or something.
a lot of climbers go there too because there's tons of bouldering. Like it's pretty popular for that.
It's also very popular for mushrooms.
True.
Magic mushrooms. Psilocybin.
Cool.
DMT.
Cool. So we can
bro jogging.
we can assume that this dude is going to Joshua Tree
Jamie, look it up.
because he's either rich or I'm just trying to make a joke out of nothing. So I'm going to stop right there. So he's at Joshua Tree National Park with a few friends. For those of you who don't know, it's in Southern California.
For those who don't know, friends are people who you enjoy to be around.
Friends are the family you choose.
Gosh damn it.
Where's that from?
That's from the
We just watched. It's from a movie.
yeah. I don't remember what it is though. I just remember hearing it.
I am so sorry. Can I share something?
Go. I haven't really gotten into the story yet, so we're good.
So if you're a Mormon, you'll know what I'm talking about. If you're not, look it up. But the Mormon Church puts out a magazine called The Friend. And someone like several years ago wrote in, and The Friend has a little section. It's like, what's your favorite like holiday recipe? Let's make it together.
Yeah, and the friend, like, it's mainly for like the like young children
For
of
like
the church.
10-year-old and younger.
Yeah, so they have like stories about Jesus or like coloring pages and things like that, and it was a monthly magazine.
So one of the segments where they were asking for everyone for their favorite holiday recipes. And someone sent one in. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, but I already know what you're talking about.
And it got published, and no one realized what had happened until a mom made word for word what it is. And I got, give me one of your phones. DJ gave me his phone, and it's incognito mode.
Bro, you got to do everything off the grid, dude. That's poor man's VPN.
There you go. Poor man's tour.
Also, I don't know what you're going to search.
True. Don't want that on the search history. Whatever it is.
So there's so there's instructions, and someone followed the instruction, and they get finished, and they're like, "What the hell is this?"
What the freak?
It's called a Christmas candle.
So what I'm looking at here on the phone is it's plated very exquisitely.
Yeah, the garnishes are.
It's a gold plate to begin with, and Mormons love talking about those gold plates. And there is a leaf of iceberg lettuce. Next, on top of that is a single slice of pineapple, like cut straight horizontally, and a hole in the middle. And in the hole is a straight up, full on raw banana. And on the top is, I would assume there's a toothpick going down the banana and leaving a little bit of the toothpick on the top and sticking a cherry right on top. And then it's garnished with some whipped cream from the top down.
So close your eyes and use your imagination of what that could look like. So one of my cousin, one of her best friends, has the missionaries over every year and says near the holidays. And she says, we're going to make... She pulls out, she like has the article. And she's like, we're going to make, the holiday candle from the Friend. And they're like, okay. And they get like halfway through and they're like... And she says, like, more often than not, they're too nice to say anything, so they finish it. And then they take photos with it.
That's hilarious.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, so this dude was in Joshua Tree with his friends. And they're just having a good time. They're hanging out. He doesn't really talk about exactly what they did there, so we'll never know. But the most important part of the trip was when he sees at night what he describes as UFOs.
Ooh.
That's not my topic. I'm still getting there.
Wow.
So, he takes a video of it with his flip phone. And I try to think, was the Razor even out at that time? I don't think so. I think the Razor came out in like a year or two after 04.
That Nokia video, bro.
Some BlackBerry
I had
video.
some busted ass Samsung.
Yeah, so he says he witnessed a couple of glowing blue UFOs. It was nighttime, and the speed at which these things were moving was incredibly fast. It didn't have the cadence of a regular airplane. So he didn't take a video. He tried to take a photo with his flip phone. But they can't stop talking about what they saw because they can't think of anything else besides it being a UFO. That's all I can think of. So they're all done with their trip. They're driving back home, and the night before comes up in conversation again. And while they're talking, he notices that behind them is a black car. And he says it looks like a Cadillac. And it's dark tinted windows. So you can't see who's in the car, how many people, or what they look like.
Mibs.
And it's following them for quite some time. So this is happening for a good amount of time. This is happening long enough to where he tries to lose them. So when they get closer to the city, he loses them in some neighborhoods. And they wait a little bit. And when they feel it's finally safe, they decide to go home or continue on their journey home. So they drive home, they pull up, and they made it home safe. Everyone's at home, everyone's cool. The next day, he leaves the house to go run some errands, and it's in the middle of the day, and when he's finished, he's driving back home. As he's pulling up, this time, he sees the same car in his driveway.
Damn.
And at this point, he's gotten so close to the house, it's too late to keep driving or to turn around.
They'll notice.
Yeah, exactly. It would just be awkward. Like, I just imagine him being in like a really tight street and he makes like a 12-point turn. So, no, he parks in his driveway.
Bold.
And as he gets out, these two men come outside of the car. And they're both wearing black suits with black fedora-like hats. And it's kind of hard to see their face. But they approach him. That he describes their appearance as, all he can say is that it looks plastic and expressionless. They both had like a pale olive kind of skin tone. That's all that he could gather.
What did they say?
Looking at them. So they approach him and they said, "We have a few questions for you." And here are some of the questions that they asked. Can you describe what you saw that night? What do you think you saw? Did you take any photos of what you witnessed? Were there others who might have had recording devices or cameras? Do you know if anyone recorded the incident? Have you spoken about this incident with anyone else who wasn't present with you that night? Did you find any unusual debris at the location you were that night? Would you be withholding any important information from us?
Okay, so Sean says no, 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 yes, no, no.
Okay, actually, I was thinking about those questions as well. Like, if you say that no one else was there and no one else knows, what's to stop them from just taking
They're like,
you?
perfect.
Exactly. So maybe some of those I ask yes.
Smart.
I answer yes.
So this person who shared this story didn't share the exact response he gave to them. All he said was he gave them really dodgy answers, made a lot of stuff up, didn't give them the complete truth of what happened from his perspective, him and his friend's side. And they were really pestering him. After some time on the driveway and these men not having a lot of success, they almost gave up, and they ended their questioning by telling him to not talk about what he saw or what just happened in the driveway. And they got into their car and they left. He never saw them again. So what I wanted to talk about tonight was
Mibs.
Damn.
The Men in Black. So many encounters with Men in Black. And we've never talked about this before, not even mentioned it, which is interesting. But there's a lot of accounts of people seeing, running into. There's even video footage of it,
I was gonna ask
CCTV
you about
footage.
that. So if you're unaware or uninitiated, Men in Black, yes, was a popular movie about Will Smith fighting aliens. But it is actually a supernatural or regular occurrence people have had over the years, and it's usually always before or after an experience of UFOs. So there's hundreds of documented cases of people being visited by very mysterious men, and usually in black suits in all black cars, and it's after they had an experience with UFO they come and they just do weird stuff. And a lot of them say they had olive skin or almost Asian looking sometimes. Like they can't place where they're from.
Or really pale white skin.
With no facial hair or eyebrows.
No eyebrows, big eyes. Yeah.
And like you said, there is CCTV footage of...
CCTV.
And like you said, there's CCTV. And like you said, there's footage of these fools walking around potentially.
And the footage, from the pictures and the footage I've seen, they look awkward. The
little rascals
the shape
standing
of
on
them?
top of each other.
Yeah,
I was
or
thinking about
Space
those aliens
Jam.
from Space Jam.
Yes, dude. When they get into the suit and
They take the NBA players' skills, dude.
it looks like a box, like a refrigerator box. Their body shape is rectangular.
Like a Lil Pump video.
Yeah. Lil Pump, Kanye West.
Sick frick.
I love it. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's weird. It's super, super weird.
You know when you said he had gotten too close or too far in to just pull around or pull away?
Yeah.
Or the job that I'm currently working at, I had an interview, let's say at 1 p.m. So because I am paranoid, I go at 12:30. And I'm I'll just find the office building, I'll know where it is, and I'll just sit and listen to podcasts in the car just so I have enough time. I don't want to be stressed. So I pull into the parking lot and I find the building and I'm this is perfect. So I go and I park and I pull in all slowly, turn my car off, and I look to the right of me, and it's the guy who I'm supposed to be interviewing with. So I was all turned the car back on and just backed out. So I literally went in and then backed out and went around the back of the building and parked. But that's it made me think of that.
Captain Sus right here.
Dude, I was hell no. I'm not just going to sit for 30 minutes right by him. But
he was the only one by himself. Nobody else with him.
no,
He
he's just sitting in
wasn't
his
wearing
car.
a black suit.
Oh my gosh.
I do have another story or encounter with these men in black.
Shoot.
So this one takes place in England a few years ago. So a lot more recently. And this person was 15 when this all happened. And they were playing video games upstairs, chilling in their room, when they get a knock on their door. she knows that her mom is up. She gets a knock at the door. She thinks it's strange because it's 11 o'clock at night. And by this time, it's dark for 5 hours. And it's during the winter time in England. So super curious as to who's knocking at this hour. She walks out, and her bedroom is on the second floor. And it comes out to the balcony of the stairs, and she can see down to the doorway, but she's just high enough where she can't see like the face of the person standing
Like
in
the
the doorway.
feet only?
She sees like part of the torso and down. Yeah. So the mom opens the door, and there's 2 figures in black suits. And she's just far enough, and there's just enough echo in the house so that she only makes out mumbling. Oh. So she can't hear exactly the conversation that's taking place. But she's watching her mom talk to these men for only 20 or so seconds. And the mom backs up, grabs the door, shuts it closed. So she runs downstairs and she talks to her mom. She said, "Who was that?" And I'm not sure if the mom told her right then and there, because it would be kind of terrifying, I feel like, or if she waited and asked a couple years later. But what happened was these 2 men who had no hair on their face and big eyes, and they were both wearing these black hats, and they were matching, but they looked the same size. They asked for the daughter, not just the first name, but the last name, and said, "Is first name, last name here?" And the mom was smart enough to respond, "You have the wrong house." And that's when she closes the door and says goodbye. So the person who sent this story also mentions that the mom said they had a German-sounding accent. That was the only other notable thing about them. Some pretty good theories that she's thought of over the years of who it might be. 1, a harmless prank by a friend calling some religious group to my house, parentheses, Jehovah Witness or Mormons. 2, I somehow ended up on a cult list. 3, deep web could have led them to me somehow. So
None of those are great.
yeah. She said she can't call it for what it is, but that's what happened to her. Ugh.
That's scary, dude.
Quick thinking on the mom for sure.
Yeah, coming in clutch.
That was great. Where was the
Shout
dad?
out moms, dude.
I know.
Yikes, dude.
Yeah, so these men in black, do you think it's organized? Do you think it's just 2 dudes trolling?
I mean, also there has to be a percentage of confusion from missionaries walking around.
I was just
Like, how many people think, "Oh, there's some men in black right there"?
I mean, we have a friend who served his mission in upstate New York, and he's 6'8", and his companion or partner at the time was like 6'9", and they were both wearing trench coats in winter, walking around the hood, and everyone called them the feds. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I've never had an experience with them or know anyone who's personally had an experience with them. So this is one that in my mind, is easily could be a myth, but it's still terrifying, the thought of it. And if it is real, then several other really frightening facts are real, in that somehow they know when people have experiences with UFOs, they know where to locate them.
They're probably organized.
Yeah. Yeah.
They have enough intel to know where people live.
And
At least from those 2 stories.
First and last names, apparently.
And that would suggest that there is some sort of supernatural or extraterrestrial element that they're monitoring and don't want people to know about.
True. Yeah. Then it means aliens are real. So there's that too.
Yeah. And some people think that they're aliens trying to act as humans. Some people think it's the government.
Mm-hmm. That was in England, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
They have
I
government
don't,
over
I don't
in
think they
England.
have government there.
Well, no, I'm just like thinking what kind of organization would be so similar.
MI6.
Probably the Kingsmen.
Oh, no. That's true, man.
The Knights Templar. You should pull up the CCTV footage. Have you ever seen it, Sean?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, we've all seen it.
Then F. Never mind.
Recently, though, there was a branch of the military that came out and acknowledged the reality of unidentified flying objects. I don't know if it was Navy or Air Force or something like that.
Navy.
Yeah, I think the Navy.
Yeah, but like straight out came in, yeah, there's UFOs.
And you know who's pioneering all that evidence coming out?
All the
the
Lazar.
small things. Don't copyright me, please. Tom DeLonge from
Oh.
Blink-182.
Some 41.
No, Blink. Some 182.
Some guy.
Something wrong.
But the fact that the lead singer from Blink-182 is like revealing that UFOs actually exist just prove we're in a simulation and this is all bullshit.
There's also like a very popular phenomenon in Phoenix called the Phoenix Lights. Have you heard of those?
Vaguely. That sounds familiar.
Both my parents have seen them.
Ooh, do tell, please. Because
That's all they told me. I'll have to ask about it.
So they're just lights in the sky.
lights in the sky that are unidentified.
Butterfly in the sky.
You can go twice as high.
Are we calling this episode Reading Rainbow?
Of course. I can do anything.
I'll have to ask, though. Oh, gosh. That's definitely a scary thought, though.
Men in Black?
Men in Black, because that could mean so much more.
It's funny because I feel like all the encounters and stories I've read about Men in Black, it was like the Men in Black's like intentions were unfruitful and unsuccessful. Like we don't have a story of somebody being kidnapped.
Well, yeah, you wouldn't.
Well, yeah, but no, I'm talking about like nobody just said like, oh, I watched as like my mom answered the door
And she's drove
and
away.
these two men took her, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was always like they came really mysteriously, pale skin, weird looking, super just incognito. The incognito man from Google. And they didn't get what they wanted and that was it.
Yeah. It is weird.
So it's like I don't know what you guys are doing over there in the Men in Black, but you're not very good at your job.
It's because you don't remember anything after the Flash. So
Ooh.
that's why.
Them boys hot.
If we ever get approached by the Men in Black, we will tell you listeners. We'll tell all of our listeners.
Yeah. So if any Men in Black are listening today,
Visit Deejay.
visit Deejay.
All right, Shawnee boy, you up.
All right. Due to the fact that it is coming up, once you listen to this episode, close to Thanksgiving, I was primarily focused on things that happened around Thanksgiving. So I found a folktale or folklore that comes out of Georgia,
The country?
the state.
Oh.
So in a town called Oakville, Georgia, really kind of out in the middle of nowhere, south of Atlanta, kind of, I mean, if you picture it, just thick forest, thick forested trees and stuff like that. If you think Appalachian Trail, this is what I think of, but not everyone knows what that means. So there's a house that is supposedly haunted. Now, this house was owned by a farmer. His name was Farmer Wallingham, and this is around late 1900s. So shortly after a civil war, they vacate the house, and they believe that when they vacated the house, something came and took up residence in the house. So a few years after leaving the house abandoned, farmer, I don't know, gets up the nerve to come back, or maybe since the war is over, they're able to move back in and everything. And immediately, once they get back to the house and they go in, they instantly get this feeling of uneasiness, kind of like a claustrophobia, just not wanting to be alone in any of these rooms in the house. But it has been abandoned for a little bit, and they chalk it up to just that, right? Now, they did report that their dog, whose name was Don Caesar, would not go into the house. But he wouldn't go into the house, and when they did get him to go into the house, he was freaked out and would just back into a corner. And then he started acting strange as well. They reported at one evening, shortly after moving into the house, he started barking at something that they couldn't see. And then, I mean, this is the South, in early or late 1900s, the door was open. The dog runs outside, and they kind of run after it and see it jump into midair and almost appear to hit something and just fall to the ground. Now, when they came and looked at the dog, it had broken its neck. Oh. And their dog died. Whoa. Now, strangely enough, they also had a cat, and they said that the cat was fully at home. Like, it was super chill coming into this house. And would appear to be just purring and rubbing against something, but nothing would be there.
I don't like that.
That's crazy, dude.
Hunt that cat, dog.
The hell's wrong?
So
I kind of am a believer that cats are
dicks.
demonic.
Animals, like dogs, I think can see
Sense.
things that we can't. Like, there's frequencies we can't hear, just like the dog whistle.
Colors.
Yeah, colors, refractions of light, and yeah, that's why you have those dogs who like will bark at to us nothing,
Yeah.
or be staring at what to us is nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then cats are fully aligned with Lucifer.
True. What is Egyptian like folklore or like legend where like the god of the dead is like has the head of a cat or something? Is that a thing? I think
Anubis,
Anubis is a dog.
Oh,
is
it's
it?
a dog.
Yeah. They worship
Sphinx,
cats.
Oh,
Sphinx are-
yeah, they got it.
head of a person, body of a cat or something.
And I think it's customary if you hold up a cat that the mummy will scream and then run away.
Oh, yeah, dude. I remember seeing that in a documentary one time.
Isn't Anubis a jackal?
Yeah.
Is jackal like a
I think it's
feline
canine.
or
Canine. Yeah.
Huh.
Maybe we should look a thing up.
Yeah.
We're like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. So I imagine that the time period when they moved back into this house was sometime late summer, because it gets to be around Thanksgiving time. And they invite their friends over. This is kind of one of those big mansion houses just out in the middle of nowhere in the wooded, foresty area of southwest Georgia.
Terrifying.
Like one of those plantation-looking houses. Damn. So they invite and they have friends over for this Thanksgiving meal.
And what year is this?
Late 1900s.
Oh,
so
damn.
not a
Okay.
specific date, but when reading the story, pictured 1890 to 1900.
Okay.
So they're all around this big oak dinner table having Thanksgiving and talking, and some of the guests say that they could then hear like a laughing appearing to come from upstairs directly above them. And that laughing was kind of hushed and quieted for a little while. And then there were also some that reported like a groaning that was happening. So a different sound, but also directly above them in the room. And then all of a sudden, all of the guests hear a scream. And something hard hit the floor. And then shortly after, drips start coming through this, and the floors back then were, slatted, so like drips start coming through.
Drips
the
of what?
ceiling.
Water? Or
Blood.
oh, freak.
Just landing right on the table.
Oh.
And everyone is in shock. No one knows what to do. And eventually, after
everyone who's home is downstairs, right?
everyone is there at the table at this Thanksgiving dinner.
Oh my gosh.
And then the head of the table, Farmer Wallingham, finally gathers his wits and runs upstairs. He gets to the room that's directly above them and opens the door. There are a few guests that followed. There's nothing there. So he goes and he starts pulling up the carpet that's in this house. And once he gets the carpet up, he sees this red stain just on the floor. So at that point, as any reasonable human being would do, they get the fuck out of there and leave the house abandoned once again.
No.
Now, one thing with all kind of creepy haunted houses is they start to gain like notoriety within the community as something haunted. Mm-hmm. And with a haunted house, stupid kids like ourselves decide to go and explore.
Nice.
Now, there was one such stupid kid. This is years later. This is probably now early 20th century. A kid named Horace Gunn. Rip. He makes a bet with some of his friends. And his bet is he's going to go and spend a night in the house. Now,
Just him.
Stupid
Horace.
Stupid. So one night, he gets up the nerve to go and spend the night in this haunted house. And he just goes kind of in the living room area. It's probably off to one of the sides specifically of this giant plantation house. And he's sitting in this room. He, after a while, just kind of getting bored, decides, I'm going to light a fire so that I can, in the fireplace, to kind of, have something there to,
Goddamn horse.
He just lights the house on fire. No. To keep him company, essentially, with this fire.
Yeah.
So he lights a match. It goes out. He lights another match and instantly goes out. So the third match, he holds it really close to this parcel of paper that he had with him. It barely catches the paper on fire and then smolders away and goes out. Now, at this point, he's like, okay, I guess I'm not going to be able to start a fire, and just kind of sits there. And then all of a sudden, he starts hearing laughing and steps running up and down the stairs in the other room, and then running around on the second floor above him. And then he hears the scream and the hit of the floor again. And he's freaking out now. But he's also just he doesn't know what to do. He's in shock, essentially. And as he's sitting there, he sees a gray light just kind of appear by the wall at about head level. And it's really dim at first. And it's completely silent. All of the laughing and the running around has stopped. The gray light gets a little bit brighter and then clearer, and he can tell that it's the face of someone. And he freaks out. He runs into the other room trying to get to the front door. And as he gets to the front door, something grabs him by the ankles, yanks his ankles back, and he falls. He hits his head and then feels something close around his neck. And no one heard from Horace again until the next morning.
Oh. I was like, then how'd they know what happened to him?
When his friends showed up at the house and found him unconscious with bruise around his neck of skinny, long fingers.
Oh. Skinny fingers.
Salad fingers?
Little Chico sticks.
Pocky.
Now, after another few years, they decide to finally tear down the house and sell off the property. But they discover a deposit of bones that is in the yard.
Oh, snap.
And then they go back and look at some of the documents that Farmer Wallingham had kept. And apparently when he moved back into the house after having been gone the first time, he found a bunch of bones just on the premises and dumped all of those bones into what they said was lime kiln to just kind of dissolve them and get rid of them.
Mm-hmm.
And people started to believe that it was the spirits of the bodies that were disrespected that came back to haunt those that entered the home.
I'd say it's a fairly rational conclusion.
And to this day, no one else has seen or heard anything. The house is demolished. There's nothing else there. But that is the story of Oakville, Georgia. Their folk story down there.
Ooh.
That's a good one.
I have a question.
And I have something to add to after you.
Let's say you find a house you love and it's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
You want to move into it and it's at an affordable, great price.
Mm-hmm.
Right before you sign the papers, they say, but this house is known to be extremely haunted. Would you do it?
I feel like we're big on not giving things power. So by that philosophy, we should be signing away and be like, whatever. Like, I'm not scared of this thing.
I agree, but I also don't tempt it. So
Yeah.
I'm going to be like, hey, can I spend the night here tonight and just see how I feel? And then we'll talk about signing in the morning.
You're Horus.
Let's say you do spend that
I
first
did
night.
go into a freaking haunted house by myself, so it's like...
Mm-hmm. No.
I don't know.
Yeah,
that would be a hard question for me. Or I don't know.
I don't know if I would, though, just because, like, at
So-
that point, it's like...
So if you spent the night there and you did have like crazy,
If something crazy happened,
you wouldn't sign.
yeah, I wouldn't sign.
Yeah, I don't think
it's
I
like
would
asking
either.
for it at that point.
Yeah, it's like we believe in not giving it power. So it doesn't mean like let's like perform a seance
Just bust
and
out
not
that
believe
Ouija
in
board.
it. Yeah, yeah. So, yeah.
True. Don't give it power, but if it's somehow got power without you giving it to it, it's like, you can keep your own power in your own damn house.
I think bones are interesting.
Oof.
Like you talked about like bone necklaces in like the Haiti episode, how they used it in voodoo. Leah talked about bone powder from a loved one.
Right.
That's how skinwalkers get their power.
For spells.
Mm-hmm. In Hawaii, bones were like, they knew bones had like power and spirit in it. So if you were an important person or you were quote unquote rich, or royalty, there were designated people who would prepare your body, burn it, gather the ashes in the bone, and they would run away with it and bury it somewhere where nobody else would know. So all of the royalty in Hawaii, their bones are buried in places in mountains and caves, deep in the forest and stuff,
So
where
if you
people
come
couldn't find them, so they couldn't steal their power or their spirit, So
There's got to be something with bones. Like also people keep skulls and stuff like that.
And it's interesting to me, like the Native Americans use that, Polynesians. We have the Haitians, and it's like it wasn't limited to those cultures. So it's like all these cultures had like a base understanding of bones and how they were important and sacred and had power to an extent.
Have you ever heard of the Nazca people?
Mm-mm.
I think Central or South America. I can't remember which one.
Like the Nazca lines in Peru.
Okay. Do you know how they were buried?
Mm-mm.
Not off the top of my head.
They're buried sitting crisscross applesauce
Mm-hmm.
with their hands folded in their lap. So this is how they were buried. And their head was right in their lap. And I think they had like a hole drilled in their skull.
It's a little
But that's how they were
extra.
buried.
Interesting.
Yeah, so there's something going on there.
There's such like a reverence around like, well, death in general for like even now, but it's just like
Indigenous
back then it was
people.
such a big thing. Like everybody had their own way to take care of the body or the bones.
I believe that the Maori people of New Zealand are buried twice. So they get buried first, and then they fully decompose, and then 1 year later they dig them up and then do another ceremony and then go and bury them like at another place.
Dang.
There's a show on Netflix. I'm surprised we haven't brought it up. I totally forgot about it. Called Dark Tourism.
Oh, yeah.
And this journalist travels all around the world to what Westerners would call obscure cultures. And he would just like learn about their practices. And I forgot who it was. I wonder if it was like Southeast Asian or some type of Hispanic.
Like the...
But every year, I don't know. I can't remember if it was one day a year or on the loved one's like birthday or something. They take them back out of the grave.
Yeah.
And they dress them up. They clean their bones. They parade them in the streets because they don't believe
they give them offerings.
Yeah, they don't believe that they really die. So
where was
every year that they do that to the skeletons, like they have their old decomposed bodies. It's crazy.
It's intense.
I think it was like Papua New Guinea or something like that. I'm going to look it up, though.
And we know how we feel about Papua New Guinea.
Terrified.
Big no. Sorry.
I'm feeling pretty good about this episode.
Yeah, I enjoyed this one.
But I can't help myself.
What?
I'm going to share a quick story.
Okay. Throw it in, dog.
So this happened to a kid when he was 13. And him and his friend go to a gym. Like their parents are a part of this gym and they just go there, you know? And he goes and he gets a glass cup and he fills it up with water. And he starts walking into the locker room to change so they can leave. And one of the employees at the gym goes, "Hey, no. Glass isn't allowed in the locker room." And he goes, "I promise I will be super careful. I promise. I'm just going to go in. I'm going to get my shoes. We're leaving." And the guy says, "Fine, just please don't break it." Okay. So he walks in and he has one mission on his mind. And it's protect this glass.
Naturally.
So he walks in, goes to his locker, and he opens it up. And he's so careful, doesn't want to break this glass. So he goes, "I'm just going to set it on the shelf inside the locker. And then so I won't bump it or anything while I put my shoes on and we leave."
Mm-hmm.
So he sets it on the shelf that's like about head height. And then he bends down to get his shoes. And as he's bending down to get his shoes, the glass falls on his head and smashes onto the floor and shatters everywhere. And he stands up, looks into the locker, and there's no shelf.
What?
And he said, "To this day, I have no idea what happened." But he goes, he said there's like only two explanations. But he doesn't even know because he's like, "I saw the shelf and I set it there. And there was enough time between me setting it down and then bending down to grab my stuff that like it wasn't like I don't know." But he's like, either I held the glass over my own head without my brain knowing and dropped it on myself is like the only thing he can think of that happened. And someone was like, "Did the shelf fall and then like get wet?" And he's like, "Nope, I looked over everywhere. The shelf simply wasn't there."
Oh my God.
Simply.
He's like, "I have no idea." And he's like, "I think about it all the time." I don't know, but that's like a glitch in the Matrix story where I was like, it creeped me out, dude. I don't know. I was just like, I didn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "I don't care if you don't believe me. It happened."
There was my locker room at the high school I went to. And the dude who ran the locker room would call all of us nephew.
Oh,
And he was big on keeping the locker room as clean as possible. And he was one of the weirdest people ever. and a lot of things confirmed it, but the one that did it in the most was somebody took a dump and didn't flush. And when everybody's in there changing, in between PE or going to practice or something, he's always yelling and like making sure people are, not leaving their stuff or throwing their towels in the right bins.
Oh,
Things like that. Just yelling at us. It's crazy.
frick nephew.
Yeah. And yeah, so he's like a clean freak too, to like the point where it's negative. But this person takes a dump, doesn't flush. I don't know if they forget or they're trolling him. But after some time, we just hear this roar. And we know it's him, and we know somebody messed up. And he comes into the main walkway and he says, "Who didn't flush the toilet?" And in his hand is the turd. And he's holding it with his bare hand. And everyone's just like wide eyes.
Lord have
Can't
mercy.
breathe. Half of us are naked, half are in the showers with the shower trees. It's dead quiet.
And you're with a psycho.
Or with a psycho.
Bro, he finna
And-
put that poop back where it belongs.
Nobody answered. And he was pissed. He was so pissed. I can't imagine what would drive me to the point of picking up someone's poop from the toilet, having it ooze through my fingers, and walking in front of a bunch of teenage boys and yelling at them naked. Yeah.
Plot twist.
Truly disturbed.
It was his own poop. And he just wanted to be close to all the boys.
He just needed an excuse. That's it.
Nephew.
Case closed. And he would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for us meddling kids.
All right, for all my nephews out there, thank you for listening.
Please don't.
Real quick, though, I'm working on 2 stories I am super excited about. One is potentially interviewing a detective from Southern California who deals with Santeria.
Sick.
Another one,
Does he have a crystal ball?
I don't know, probably.
Does he have $1 million? Did he lose it all?
Maybe. I don't know. We'll have to ask him. And then another one is like an ongoing, an unsolved mystery that we could have the potential to go find out some stuff.
What?
I'm so excited.
I'm excited too. Thank you to everyone who's already sent stories to us. A lot of these have been great. There are a lot more that people have sent that we're slowly telling.
Yep.
Here and there.
Trickling them in. Shout out Brittany and Gray for my stories today.
Shout out Candy.
Okay.
Shout out the entire state of Georgia.
Cool.
And Men in Black, please don't come visit me.
But really, please do. All right. Everyone out there, bye, love you, be safe.
Trust your gut. Watch your back.
Thanks for listening. Maybe I should say something else now.
Dude, Sean's like, I want a patch.
Dude, use caution.
Dude, how about sweet dreams?
Sweet dreams.
Everyone tonight, when you lay your head down to sleep, try not to think of our stories. Try not to get sleep paralysis. And sweet dreams from Sean. Anyway.
Yeah, so apparently
Bye.
wow.